Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Okay, truly, we're so excited, and this is just amazing to be standing in front of this incredible group. So, like I said, we're going to start with the most important part and get our ribbon cut. So I'm going to ask everybody behind me to stand. We'll cut the ribbon, and then we're going to move the podium back and hear some remarks from our speakers.
Yeah, you gotta be low.
So I'm going to count to three, okay? Let's do one post here. Everyone's smiling, looking. Ready? I can tell. You can't tell. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Before we get started, again, thank you all for being here. I just wanted to give you a couple of housekeeping things before I introduce you to our amazing leadership team. We're going to hear from each of our amazing speakers here, and then you may see our team kind of scoot out for a minute. We're going to invite the mayor back up to the podium because she's going to hold her daily press conference. So some of us will be stepping out so that we're ready to greet you on your way out. So if you see that happen, it's in full support of everything that's going on here today and to greet you afterwards. So without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce one of our co-founders to start us off today, Melissa Wyden.
Good morning. I'd like to begin by thanking the many distinguished guests who are celebrating this historic moment with us. I'd like to start with the City of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Thank you so much for being here. Sylvia Garcia, Secretary of the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. Chase Raywinkle, Acting Director of the Division of Banking of the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. Alderman Walter Burnett. Investor and advisor Billie Jean King, a legendary sports icon, an accomplished businesswoman, and a lifelong advocate for equality. Advisors Sophia Bush and Nia Batts, both experienced entrepreneurs, activists, and advocates for equality who are passionate about closing the racial and gender gaps in access to capital. I'd also like to thank our partners from Barrick, Ferrazano, Kirschbaum, and Nagelberg, Fiserv, Examine, and also our family members who are here today. Thank you so much for celebrating this with us and for supporting us and tolerating us on this very long journey. The story of this bank grew out of the basic notion that this is the time, this is the moment for a financial institution that empowers women economically, that is focused on financial inclusion, that is committed to equal access of opportunity and resources and networks, and most of all, of capital. That's why we created the first women's bank, the first women-founded, women-led, women-owned commercial bank on a mission to grow the economy and advance the role of women within it. Today, we are at a real inflection point. Never before has there been a greater need and an opportunity to address what we believe is the fundamental problem facing women-owned and women-led businesses, and that's access to capital. 42% of the small businesses in this country are owned by women, and that's about 13 million small businesses, and a full 50% of those are owned by women of color. But those businesses are only able to access 16% of all commercial lending, which equates to about 4% of the total dollars lent. As the first bank anywhere formed to solve this problem, to address and bridge the gender gap in access to capital, we will be uniquely positioned to positively impact the trajectory of women-owned businesses, both individually and collectively, to help them grow and thrive and succeed, and to help advance gender equality on a broad scale. So we know that capital is critical to small businesses, but we also know that small businesses need lots more to succeed. And so that's why our concept is primarily to create a bank that will develop and deliver innovative capital solutions for small businesses. But in addition, and we know the research supports this, we are creating a collective, the FWB Collective, which will assemble resources and people and products and services to help our clients succeed. Sitting atop the collective is an amazing advisory board whose members are business leaders and civic and nonprofit leaders from across the country. And the chairs of that advisory board are here with us today, the amazing Dory McWhorter and Meredith O'Connor. Thank you so much for serving. So my co-founder in this event, in this venture, is Amy Fahey. She was the first to sign on to this venture over 4 years ago. She is an inspirational leader. She's a mentor, she is a financial feminist, and she's a dear friend of mine. And I am really honored to welcome her, and here is co-founder and First Women's Bank board chair, Amy Fahey.
Thanks so much, Melissa, and welcome everyone. You know, our story, which Melissa said, started more than 4 years ago as just an idea. But it's a testament, that story, to the impact and the significance of this mission. You know, it's a mission that's especially relevant at this moment in time. These times have so many really interesting issues going on around the gender gaps, whether that's in pay, in wealth, in leadership, or as Melissa indicated, in access to capital. And it's really our focus to sort of address that. And it's really interesting at this time, it's starting to finally achieve the much needed attention. Our story is really also about the importance and power of networks. You know, most of us didn't even know each other when we started this venture, but we all came to the table with our network. And it's those networks that allowed us to really get to where we are today. It helped us find the amazing team that we have that are leading this venture forward. And it also helped us identify our incredible board of directors, a group of people that have deep ties and networks within the community. I want to really take an opportunity to introduce them as well right now. They're all standing over here. So I'll start. Christy Paskvan, Gary Gage, Winslow Sargent, Kim Vandermoffett, Nicole Hackett, and Steve Bangert. Thank you guys so very much. And also Christina Rashid, who unfortunately is so disappointed that she couldn't be here today. You know, I spent 29 years in leadership roles in banking, and I have to tell you that I am so comfortable and confident in our ability to succeed, given the amazing team and leadership that we've brought to bear, as well as the significant business and banking experience of our board of directors. I want to thank everybody for the support and for being here today on behalf of our directors, and hope that we'll see you again really, really soon at the bank. I get the opportunity now to introduce our amazing CEO, the CEO of First Women's Bank, Mary Ann Markowitz.
So first, thank you, Amy, and I just really want to take a moment to thank Melissa and Amy. These two are tenacious, dedicated women. I know you can hear it in their remarks, and they're in the mission. None of us would be standing here today if it were not for them, including me, especially me, since they hired me. So I really want to thank them both for their partnership, their leadership, and their friendship. Another round of applause for them. And thank you to all of our incredible guests, our sponsors, our partners, and advisors. We are honored and proud to share this moment with each and every one of you. As Amy pointed out, the talent that our mission has been able to attract is simply incredible. In addition to our outstanding board members, we have assembled an amazing team. First Women's Bank team, thank you all for sharing your talent, your skill, your unending energy, your late nights with us, and especially for all that you bring to our clients. Leading this incredible group is our leadership team. It's made up of deeply experienced bankers and professionals who bring a level of sophistication that is unmatched. You've met Melissa, and you've met Amy. So let me introduce you to Maria Tabrizi, our Chief Risk Officer and I didn't get through her whole title. Maria wears many hats. She's our Chief Risk Officer and our Chief Technology Officer. Dan Conwent, our Chief Credit Officer. Patty Rosa, our Controller. Todd Gordon, our CFO. And Colleen Ryan, our Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. And in-house wizard. So everything today was Colleen. Our next few speakers are champions of equality. They're advocates for inclusion, and each of them is a trailblazer in their own way. Today, we are incredibly honored to be joined by our newly announced strategic advisors, Sophia Bush and Nia Batts, investor and advisor, Billie Jean King, Illinois DCEO Director, Sylvia Garcia, and the leader of this incredible city that we are so proud to call home, Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Mayor?
Well, I hope that what you're feeling in the buzz in this room and the excitement, what I can tell you is that when this announcement started to be known in the larger Chicago community, the buzz is equally as exciting. I'm going to depart from my prepared remarks and just say a couple things from the heart. Listening to the words of the folks that have spoken before me and understanding the important mission of this bank, I can tell you our values are aligned. I could cite you the statistics, but the bottom line is this. Opening up access to capital is critically important, and it's got to be opened up to everyone. We cannot succeed and move forward as a city, but I'll say it larger. We can't succeed and move forward as a nation unless we are very intentional about making sure that no one is left behind. And you know the research. When you support women entrepreneurs, you are supporting an entire family, an entire community, and you are moving all of us forward. So the intentionality around making sure that there is a place for women to be able to get access to capital, to make their dreams become reality because they are supported financially, I hope that this is not the first bank. I hope it is the first of many. And the chapter that's being written today with this important announcement, I am confident is going to be the first chapter of a multi-chapter book which shows the success stories of the people and the women and the businesses that are going to be financed. You're going to hear from one of them today, but this is a city that is absolutely ripe for this kind of opportunity. We value making sure that equity and inclusion and leaving no one behind is a part of who we are and who we become as a city. We have done things to support that work by making sure that in all the dollars that we pushed out, particularly over COVID, that we're opening up opportunities to folks that may not have been able to access other funds that were coming from the federal government. But this, putting down this marker here in this city, is going to really, I think, tell the world loud and clear that we're open up for business, but open up for business and opportunity for everyone, and no one will be left behind. The last thing I'll say is this. On most of my travels, from going home after a long day and traveling across the city and dealing with lots of issues, I watched this building. I saw it being rehabbed, and I've wondered for a long time, well, what's going to happen? What business is going to go in here? And it's going to give me such pleasure on my journeys home from this day forward to know that this bank is here creating opportunities and opening up a world of possibilities to women entrepreneurs and others across the city. It's a great day to be in the city of Chicago, and thank you so much for betting on our city and making sure that the opportunities start here right now. It's my pleasure. And in order to make these things happen, you need friends in high places. So it's my great pleasure to welcome up Sylvia Garcia, the Executive Director and Secretary of the DCEO group from the state. They are tremendous partners. They need to be at the table. And so without further ado, not to put you on the spot, but come bearing gifts. Come with checks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you. We're always excited to be partners with folks here today. And as the Mayor mentioned, my name is Sylvia Garcia, and I'm the Acting Director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or since that's a lot of words, we'd just like to call it DCEO. So really excited to be here on behalf of the Governor as partners with the First Women's Bank. You can feel the energy in the room, and we want to feel this energy all across Illinois as we make this big announcement today, establishing the first of its kind with a board and team that just has been phenomenal to work with in the course of getting launched here. I'd like to also acknowledge some of my colleagues from the Illinois Department of Financial Protection and Regulation, or IDFPR. We've got our Acting Secretary, Mario Trieto, and Chase from his team as well. IDFPR, as some of you know, is really important in this conversation. Their division of banking was a key part of getting to this day. And I think everybody knows it's probably not easy to start a bank, but especially not during a pandemic. So I know the team has worked tirelessly with the team here at First Women's Bank to really make sure that we got to this day. And the IDFPR examiner team that actually worked on this was a team of all women as well. So I think, again, seeing that gender equity, seeing women at the table is really important as we work together to create the first new bank in the decade in the state of Illinois. So very excited about that. We know this is a major milestone for folks. Really, again, as the Mayor was saying, the access to capital is a critical issue and something that we at DCEO and along with the Governor are really focused. Women-owned businesses are a driving force in today's economy, and they play a major role in supporting our communities, fueling employment, and contributing to the overall health of our economy. Here in Chicago, we're proud to be the home to the highest percentage of female founders of anywhere in the world. So that's really exciting. In spite of a pandemic unlike anything we've seen, and sometimes because of it, we've actually seen a record number of women entrepreneurs pivoting and launching and trying to figure out how to stay in the economy. And so it's really important as we try to build back better that we think about how we help folks that have been pushed out of the workforce or are thinking about, let's do something differently. Let's think about how we change the way we do business. So very excited to see that. As has been mentioned, historically, women-owned firms have really struggled to have that access to capital. And so together with the Governor, as part of our 5-year economic plan, we in Illinois are trying to close that equity gap and really make key investments that bring that capital forward. And so one of the key things that we're hoping to get First Women's Bank on our list of approved lenders for our Advantage Illinois program in the coming months. That's a program for small businesses owned by folks across the state, but actually has a set aside in our FAME program for women-owned, businesses owned by people of color, veterans, and people with disabilities to give them access to capital. And the state actually provides half of the percentage of credit, which actually buys down the amount of credit that folks are eligible to. So really hoped that First Women's Bank will be a partner in that in the coming months and really help us open up that access to capital. At all of these groundbreakings, we always say that we're partners today, we're partners well into the future, but I think here today we really want to double down on that commitment and that just know that this is the beginning of hopefully a long and great partnership between the state and First Women's Bank. And with that, it is now my extreme honor to introduce a hero of mine, Miss Billie Jean King. Thank you.
Oh, I have such a special place in my heart for Chicago. Thank you, Director Garcia, for introducing me. I appreciate it. And of course, it's great to have Mayor Lightfoot here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You know what, so I just have to say this before I start, really. Before we came out here, I got to meet 3 generations of family today. And I cannot tell you how wonderful it was. And then we even have a baby, I don't know, 4 weeks old, maybe, August, right? Nia Bat's baby. Oh my God, so cute. So anyway, 4 generations or whatever, how many, but it was so amazing, the electricity and the love and the just, we're gonna make it, okay? We're gonna make this happen. You know, and I've been a small business owner since 1968. I know everyone thinks of me as a tennis player, but actually behind the scenes, owned tournaments, owned the Virginia Slims of Chicago, ran World Team Tennis out of here. I mean, I have been, so anyway, just, I don't think most people know that. And I know what it is like from the challenges women face when it comes to financial solutions for small business. I lived it. I've been to banks. It's not easy if you're a woman. I am so excited about the First Women's Bank. And don't you love that name? First. Of course, who doesn't like to be number 1, right? Right? Anyway, it's the only bank in the country. It's the only one right now that is women-owned, women-led, and focused on serving the women's economy as well. And we talk a lot about, gender gaps in pay and leadership. And we've got to stay focused on those. But there's also a significant gender gap, as people up here already have said, to capital. And the First Women's Bank was formed to help close it. It's the essence. That's our goal. Women-owned businesses have been growing 2 times faster than the national average. And as Melissa said, we still only get 16% of all conventional business loans. That's pretty pathetic. 2 times faster, and yet we're only getting 16%. That's like athletes. 40% of professional women athletes, 40% of professional athletes are women, and we get 4% of the media. So you don't know half of them. So I understand what it is to be the underdog. And while we're focused on the economy, the reason I joined, the reason I invested is because I said, are you going to have inclusion? If you're not going to have inclusion, I'm not interested. Just for women, I'm not interested. And inclusion is a huge part of our goal. So I said, I'm in. And when the bank delivers on its mission, as I said, it won't be just for women. The small business community and the economy will benefit. Everyone has a chance to win. And I look forward to working with First Women's Bank to bridge those gaps and empower women to reach their full potential so that everyone can participate equally in the economy. It is vital for the future of our country and to make this world a better place. So thanks, everyone. Really so happy you're here. I hadn't met Sophia or Nia before today. So, except, of course, we've seen Sophia all over the place, movies, everything. How about Chicago PD? I mean, you can't get any better than that. And then if you read about Nia Batts, I mean, she is such an entrepreneur. They're amazing. They're going to be investing in businesses, which I love to hear. It's investment that matters, okay? Investment. It's basically put your money where your mouth is, okay? So that's really what, I mean, if you want to talk like an athlete. Anyway, I really would like Sophia to come on up and talk to you guys. She's amazing. You'll love it. Come on. Sorry, and Nia. Sorry, Sophia and Nia. Oh my God. Wait until you talk to Ebony.
Yeah, we really do move as a pair. And Billie Jean, what a trip, to have you introduce us. And thank you so much to all of you for coming out. And thank you, Mayor Lightfoot. This is exactly what it means to spend the privilege of a platform. And you came here to do your press briefing today, to bring all of these people here to pay attention to what's happening in this room. And we're very grateful for you. And hi, everyone. Nia and I are incredibly grateful to be here with all of you to celebrate the grand opening of the historic First Women's Bank. And we must say that we are pinching ourselves because we are strategic advisors alongside a hero and an icon to the both of us, Billie Jean. You have inspired us with your tireless advocacy for women our entire lives. And whether it was on the court, literally fighting in defense of Title IX in the Battle of the Sexes, which, a movie was made about, so I know a thing or two about that, or off the court, throughout your public life and in private rooms, you have consistently questioned systems of power. You have called out toxic dominance, and you have advocated for everyone who has historically been kept out of the rooms where it happens. Oh, I didn't expect this part. We're in this room today because we stand on your shoulders.
You're gonna make me cry.
I really thought I had it together. And pretty wild that we get to stand beside you. I'm gonna let you take this part.
Sophia and I have firsthand experience as small business owners, and also with the particular effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on women-owned businesses. Midway through 2020, our team at Detroit Blows was forced to shutter the small business that we spent 4 years building in Detroit. It was a salon built by and for an intersectional community of women, and structured to center on the experiences of women of color. We simply didn't have the runway to shoulder the economic burden of COVID. The pandemic cost the 3 of us co-founders and our 23 employees our dream. Those 23 women are largely members of communities that have been disproportionately harmed by this pandemic.
We understand that the loss of a small business in a community like ours is a certain kind of casualty, and we intimately understand what it feels like, as so many other women who run small businesses do, to bear the brunt of 2 disasters at once. We know that we're not alone, whether it's for our now shuttered salon, for Black-owned businesses like my hometown favorite of Bloom and Plume in Los Angeles, or so many businesses here in my former and always home away from home of Chicago, like our friends at Southside Grinds. Access to capital, PPP loans, and small business association support has been difficult. And the public health crisis and financial devastation that these multiple compounding injustices have wrought have to be addressed if we hope to recover. And that's our aim in joining the First Women's Bank as both strategic advisors to the bank and as committed community advocates.
Now more than ever, we need innovative business solutions to help close the racial and gender lending gaps. And Sophia and I are incredibly honored to be joining First Women's Bank in this shared mission. Marianne, Amy, Melissa, Colleen, and the team are incredibly seasoned leaders. They have decades of varying experiences in the financial services industry, from the leadership that creates a deep knowledge of what communities need, to leading the Small Business Association under President Barack Obama, to the strategic perspectives that comes from over a decade of experiences at commercial banks and credit bureaus. This team understands the unique challenges faced by women and small business owners. And they know how to create lending opportunities that help mitigate the injustices in our existing systems. Unemployment numbers during COVID are higher for people of color. And the largest group of workers that's left the workforce during the public health crisis are women, largely women of color. Women have been forced to choose between caring for their families and continuing their careers. And that's a choice that they shouldn't have to make. And still like air, we rise, right? 89% of the new businesses that have been opened in this country every day have been opened by women of color.
And it's out. And it's out of both necessity and that kind of tenacious spirit that so many women have innovated amidst the pandemic and started those businesses in this tenuous economic environment. Families are getting creative and making it work, and this creates opportunities that are more flexible for childcare, for family responsibilities. But everyone in this room knows that that comes with a set of challenges. Imagine what these women could do if they were actually adequately funded and supported. Women are leading the economic revolution in this country, and as I know you've heard a few times today, I feel the need to hammer it home. They are receiving only 16% of conventional business loans. So all the stats you've heard today, 16 cents on the dollar are being loaned to women. The gap is unacceptable. And the First Women's Bank is intentionally addressing that gender lending gap, not only by providing access to capital, but to potential. They're providing access to advisors and mentors and networks and tools and resources that will actually help to build and propel small businesses, entrepreneurs, and the economy overall. Just because women have proven that they can do more with less doesn't mean they should have to. And when we do better, as you've heard, so does the entire economy.
Thank you so much for being with us here today. We're incredibly proud to be a part of this initiative. We look forward to seeing you all again soon.
I'm going to have a word with Colleen. I don't know how I follow all of that. So thank you, Sophia and Nia, Billie Jean, Director Garcia, and Mayor Lightfoot. We are so inspired by your commitment to equality and inclusivity. We look forward to working alongside you all to close the gender lending gap and expand economic opportunity for women. As you heard from Melissa earlier, our mission to grow the economy and advance the role of women within it, it's integrated into everything that we do. Promoting gender equality at this bank, it's not a marketing strategy. It's not a play. It's in our DNA. It infuses everything we do. At First Women's Bank, we believe that the potential for the bank to drive social change and to bridge the gender lending gap is enormous. And we will draw significant strength in that effort from our partners. Earlier today, we announced our mission partners, and I want to celebrate and thank each of those organizations and their representatives that are here with us. Ann Garrity from Aon. Peggy Saracen from Comcast Corporation. John Zindel from William Blair. And Amy Fuller with Western Gulf Association, or WGA. These mission partners provide tangible support for the women's economy in the form of FDIC-insured mission deposits. We also announced today a very special partnership with Wendy's to leverage our unique lending strategy to help expand franchise ownership possibilities for women and minorities, and we're thrilled to have Chris Karfenbarger here with us today. Okay. At this time, I'd like to welcome Ann Garrity at Aon. Aon was our very first mission partner, and that is in no small part thanks to the incredible support we received from Ann Garrity and the treasurer of Aon, Paul Fahey. Ann?
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann. It's a pleasure to be here, and I understand that our treasurer is also here, Paul Fahey.
over there. Thank you all for, most importantly, for your tremendous support. As Marianne introduced me, my name is Ann. I'm a managing director here in Aon's Chicago office, and I'm a proud member of the advisory board for First Women's Bank. Having prior business experience with some of the leadership team for First Women's Bank, I knew from the very beginning conversation that I had when I heard about the concept of this bank that it was going to be very successful. We were aligned with its mission. I was personally aligned with the mission, and I work for a corporation that is committed to that mission, and that it was going to be very successful. I'm proud to work also, of course, for Aon. As Marianne said, Aon was the first to commit as a mission depositor, and thank you again for our global treasurer, Paul Fahey, for his support in facilitating that really important commitment. Paul, that's for you. The bank's mission is aligned with Aon's mission to enable more business owners better access to capital, along with female entrepreneurs. They need the capital to grow their businesses, and it also aligns with Aon's commitment to diversity and inclusion. Aon is committed to providing our clients with advice and solutions to give them the confidence to make better decisions and grow their business. And just as we help our clients grow their business, First Women's Bank and the critical work it's doing, providing lending options that empower women, are completely intersected. We couldn't be more excited to be a part of this, honored to be a part of this. It's a very momentous occasion for the bank and for us. And as an advisory board member, I personally look forward to continuing to partner with the bank and its leadership team to build, connect, resource, and inspire women and women-led businesses around the country and the community. Thank you.
And now we'll have Chris Carpenter from Wendy's join us at the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today representing the Wendy's Company. My name is Chris Kaufenbarger, and I'm the Vice President of System Optimization, Franchise, and Portfolio Management. I'm here today with Sherry Roel. Thanks for coming. I'd like to recognize Marianne and Colleen for your partnership and support of this exciting event. The Wendy's team have been working with Marianne and Colleen for some time now, leading up to today's official ceremony and this exciting milestone. Through this partnership, we will be able to attract new, more diverse franchisees, and this directly relates to Wendy's strategy to increase the representation of underrepresented populations in our franchise community. We also believe that this creates a very unique opportunity for the First Women's Bank to finance those franchisees, both our existing and our new diverse franchisees. We look forward to partnering to help bridge the gender and racial lending gaps and to create opportunities in the Wendy's system for new franchisees that own and operate their own businesses. I am 1,000% confident the First Women's Bank is going to make a big, big difference. Thank you again for having me, and good day to all.
Okay. Thank you both. Your partnership with the First Women's Bank will have a real and lasting impact on the women's economy, and we are so proud to have all of our amazing mission partners join us in this historic effort. Round of applause for everyone. So our final speaker today is someone that I have come to admire and who truly inspires me. Ebony Blue is a thoughtful and creative and fierce entrepreneur. Ebony is dedicated to economic development and job creation on the South Side, which is her beloved adopted home. Ebony came to us with an incredible business plan early in her journey, and we were able to support her efforts with critical connections and advisement through the First Women's Business Collective. Just last week, we were so proud to celebrate the grand opening of Southside Grind's first retail location in Woodlawn. Let me turn it over to Ebony to tell you more about it.
And good morning. Good morning. I am really, really excited. I remember meeting Mary Ann and just thinking this was an amazing idea. And there needs to be institutions just like FWB. So really excited. So I just want to start off with one thing. There are large commerce and caffeination gaps on the south and west sides of Chicago. There just are, right? And everyone already knows, my name is Ebony Blue and I'm the founder of Southside Grinds. We are a mobile espresso bar and roaster on the south side of Chicago. Our mission is to spread love and caffeination in under-commerced. No, this is real. It's really our thing. We spread love and caffeination in under-commerced, under-beveraged, and under-caffeinated areas. It's really important to us because there are a lot of places on the south and west sides of Chicago that do not have beverages, let alone any types of commerce. So when we are solving for caffeine, we're also solving for beverages, and at some point, and sometimes food. So this is really important to us, and we're really passionate about it. So in addition to our mobile business where we go and meet you where you are and elevate your spaces and places, we also have a walk-up window, which is really new, and we recently launched it with Mary Ann in attendance this past Saturday, and it's in Boxville in the Bronzeville area on 51st Street. And that's a under-caffeinated vein, an under-beverage vein, and an under-commerce vein. And I will keep saying this because it's important that you know that the south and west sides are plagued with these. And I felt a need to bring commerce to these places in the way that I knew how, and that was through coffee. So my long-term goal, and our long-term goal, is to have a cafe with an in-store roasting experience. And the whole point there is to be able to demystify coffee. It's this magical bean that came from Africa, Ethiopia, 850 BC, it was founded, but somehow when it gets to the other side, here on the south side and west sides of Chicago, no one can really relate. So it's my goal to demystify it. It's my goal to really create a great atmosphere where people can enjoy it, and it's my goal to wholesale to businesses on the south side so they can sell fresh roasted coffee to their patrons. So that's our goal, but I just want you to know, this is not a new goal, not at all. I actually approached 8 financial institutions to try to get this done. And I will tell you, the answer that I continued to get was that you're a startup and we don't lend to startups. You're a food business, and those are really hard to fund right now. And I will tell you, it was a woman in this room who actually helped me to launch my innovative idea, and that's Dory McWhorter. She really did become through the YWCA, my first client. And I'm so thankful for her because she kept me going when I didn't feel like I could. But I think the whole point here is the cold hard facts. First Women's Bank is integral to the success of women-owned businesses. More important, it's truly integral to mine. I've been on this journey for a while. I'm finally starting to see it come to fruition through me bootstrapping, through my own cash. But I know that there is an opportunity for us to work together even further to make this roastery on the south side a reality, and I plan on doing that in the near future. So thank you for taking time to listen to a little bit about my journey. Hopefully you'll follow us on social media at Southside Grinds and learn about everything that we do. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you again. Thank all of you. Really, what amazing company for all of us to be in on a really important day. Before we hand it over to the mayor's team, I just want to see if there's any press that has any questions for any of the speakers. We're good?
This is called on-topic questions. Hopefully you're actually here for that as well.
On topic. I appreciate that. Okay. With that, I'm going to just steal this group to go take some photos and invite the mayor up to the podium.
Thank you so much for
thank
inviting
you. Thank you.
Hey.
Hi, Mayor.
How are you?
Over half of Westside Elementary School student body is currently under quarantine, and the Chicago Teachers Union says they need a better COVID safety plan in place, calling for more vaccination, a better vaccination plan, and enhanced testing. And they said that this falls under your responsibility. What is your response to that and to their demands?
Well, first of all, they need to come to the table and actually talk with us. We've been meeting with them all summer long, and we can't get to the end zone with them, and we need to. They need to step up. It's not going to happen if they just do press conferences and press releases. They need to be at the bargaining table. Before school opened, we asked them to meet with us every single day to get a deal done. They never did that. They never did that. So I get that you're reading their press release and giving me their talking points, but that's not going to get the deal done. Obviously, we need to work together to make sure that we've got adequate, more testing resources. We've got to get more vaccines, but we've got to do that in partnership with the CTU. And them being on the sideline and lobbying bombs from the cheap seats ain't going to get it done. They need to be at the table with us. I had a long discussion last night with President Sharkey. We're committed and we're moving forward, but we need their partnership, not just the critique from the cheap seats. So come to the table. Let's get a deal done. Let's make sure that we're working forward together. We got to do more to support those building principals to make sure that they've got the resources that they need. CDPH is fully engaged in my direction, and we're going to make sure that we move forward in a different but better way. And CEO Martinez hopefully gets board approval today. He's fully engaged, and he's going to be here next week, and I'm looking forward to his tenure moving forward the district on a number of different issues, but obviously vaccines, testing, and making sure that we do great contact tracing and case investigations at very high at the top of my list and the top of his list.
Hi, Mayor.
Hello, how are you?
Good. October 15th is the deadline for city employees to be vaccinated. Is there an agreement with city unions, or will that deadline be pushed back?
No, the deadline's not going to be pushed back. I can tell you that with 100% certainty. We've had great conversations with most unions. There's kind of one tranche. It's all the unions and fire, and then on the other side is the FOP and the sergeants and supervisors union. With respect to, I'll call it the collective, great conversations, moving things forward. I'm not sure that we're going to agree on every issue, but there's been very thoughtful dialogue engagement. Not surprisingly, FOP, nowhere. We should be meeting this week. Why aren't we meeting this week? They pushed us off and said, oh, no, we can't meet meet again till the week of the 27th. That makes no sense whatsoever. We were just at headquarters a day ago, memorializing the stars of 4 CPD officers who died of COVID. And there was a great speech by the vice president of the FOP talking about how we had to come together and support these families. The best way that we can support these families is by getting vaccinated. What is the #1 cause of death amongst first responders? COVID-19. It is unconscionable that the FOP is taking the position that they will not do the right thing by their members and get them vaccinated. Members, police officers run into harm's way every single day, but the one thing that they cannot run from if they're not vaccinated is COVID-19. They are getting hospitalized. They are getting sick. Get the vaccine. And the fact that the FOP is, I don't even know what they're doing, but they're not engaging with us, that's for sure. They're doing their members a disservice. Those members need to get vaccinated, and we are moving forward. October 15th is the deadline, and we are not going to retreat from that, because the only way that we can create a safe workplace is by getting people vaccinated. All through the pandemic, I heard from union after union about the concerns of their members, and I get that. But the only way that we can actually make good on the promise of making the workplace safe is by getting people vaccinated. October 15th remains, and we will move forward from there.
I've got a question from Dan over at WBEZ. He asks, last week we learned that the state's attorney opened an investigation into the Park District's handling of lifeguard abuse allegations. They informed Mike Kelly and Avis Lavelle a month ago, but your staff said you didn't know about it until last week. Should Mike Kelly and Avis Lavelle have told you what they knew that the state's attorney was investigating? Are you confident that they can handle this issue going forward?
Well, it's not a surprise that the state's attorney is investigating. The state's attorney should have opened up an investigation a long time ago. From the things that have been leaked out through the press, the young women who have come forward have made allegations of very serious crimes. Very serious crimes. So the state's attorney should have opened up an investigation long ago. But I'm grateful that she's done so now, and I think that that needs to move forward with all deliberate speed. Those women who are victimized need to have justice, and the people who have victimized them need to be held accountable. Of course I should have known about this at the time that Mike Kelly and Avis Lavelle were notified, and I've made very clear that that was a mistake on their point. They should have read me in. But the most important thing is that the state's attorney has her role to fulfill, and that needs to move forward, but also the investigation needs to continue. These young women who have come forward and at risk to themselves in difficult circumstances, probably re-traumatizing themselves by having to relive what they experienced, they deserve justice, and I'm determined to make sure that that happens.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Amy,
Hi.
Been a while.
Yes, so Secretary Miguel Cardona was in town, Secretary of Education was in town yesterday. Basically, he said the kids have suffered enough, let's get them back in the classroom, and that sitting in front of computers isn't working. But today, as we speak, there's 500 CPS students who've tested positive. No one's hospitalized, mostly asymptomatic. Some have a cough, because I looked into that. But 9,600 are quarantined just because they were in a class with them. They were masked up. So I have a few questions. Most of the people that are at home right now and can't go to school or play sports are from the Black and brown communities. So how is this fair? And also, have you thought about letting students test out of quarantine? Because that's a proposal in Naperville District 203.
Look,
because the numbers keep growing, and we're back to where we were last year.
There's no reason that the numbers should be growing. I am not happy and frankly deeply disappointed with the way that CPS has handled this from the start of the school year, and I've made that very, very clear to the CPS team, and they need to do a much better job. As I mentioned, I've directed Dr. Garrity last week and her team to get fully engaged, and they are. And they are helping stand up better protocols to make sure that we're not seeing mass quarantining. That's not a thing. There's very specific public health guidance that we've been following from the very beginning of this pandemic, and CPS needs to follow that guidance. It's very clear. When somebody tests positive, you do a case investigation. You understand when they first started experiencing symptoms, and then you ask questions about where they've been. And we've got to do a better job of that within CPS. And then when you understand through that case investigation what's happened, then you start doing the notification. But passing somebody in a hallway is not 15 minutes of substantive contact that would warrant the kind of quarantining that we've seen. So I'm confident that with CDPH more directly involved, we're going to right the ship and we're going to move forward in a better way. We've got to do a better job. There's no question about that. This is exactly why I directed Dr. Garrity and her team last week to get fully engaged. As soon as I became aware of the significant challenges, obviously, that CPS has faced, we will right the ship.
Well, actually, I have several questions because it's hard to do this. I want to follow up. I mean, I have my own question, but I kind of want to follow up on what you just said.
Go ahead.
Is that what's happening? Are CPS schools not following the guidance?
Look, I don't.
Are they just?
No. Here's what I will say is there's very specific protocols that have been in place since last school year. Those protocols need to be followed, and we've got to make sure that in every instance that when we see that somebody has tested positive, there's a case investigation done in a timely fashion, understanding what the nature of the context might have been with somebody else, whether in the school setting or out of the school setting. Then contact tracing has to start, and we've got to do a better job of supporting the building principals and the other staff that are charged with right now really implementing the protocols. That's something that I've had extensive conversations with the CPS team about. I've had extensive conversations with Pedro Martinez, who's our hopefully incoming CEO, and Dr. Garrity and her team obviously know up from down, and they will be able to right the ship. I feel very confident in that.
All right, so then moving on the budget. Obviously, several aldermen and also the Civic Federation, they're all worried that once these federal funds dry up, all these programs that you proposed on Monday are also going to dry up. Can you address what happens to all your proposals once the
what I will say is this. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay.
What I will say is this. Obviously, I believe that the monies that we've gotten from the federal government, we are not going to see anything on this magnitude again. You just look at what's happening right now on the infrastructure bill, something that poll after poll shows that 60 to 70% of Americans are in favor of it, but we can't reach bipartisan agreement to get a bill on the president's desk. Unfortunately, that's the state of Washington, D.C. So the monies that we receive now, which we are extraordinarily grateful for, I lobbied hard for, along with lots of other mayors across the country, we need to be very prudent in the way that we use those. So, of course, we have thought about the fact that they're not going to come again. This is a big one-time infusion of cash, and what we want to do, if you look at the breakdown between what's on corporate versus what's on ARP, what's on a bond, we've been very thoughtful about making sure that we are using these monies in a way that brings catalytic transformation, but it recognizes the fact that once that money is gone, we've got to make sure that we've got the resources in place in communities to continue the growth, and particularly around infrastructure. So we spent a lot of time thinking about what is the right balance between the monies that go on the corporate fund, the monies that are going to be funded through the projects that are going to be funded through ARP, monies that are going to be funded through bond. So we've been very, very thoughtful about that. We'll get into more discussions with the aldermen as the hearings begin. I'm certain that's going to be a big point of conversation on Friday when the financial team, the budget director, the CFO, and the controller go before City Council. But as I said, we were very, very thoughtful and spent a lot of time dividing up where the revenue was going to be coming to fund the various investments that we've made for the very point that you raised. We don't want to put money into something and only have it be a 1 or 2 year investment. That doesn't help anybody. So, as I said, I think we've been thoughtful. I think we've struck the right balance, but it will be for the City Council members to judge that.
Can I just ask a question for my colleague Karen Jordan? Some Afghan children, I guess, arrived at O'Hare today.
Yes.
There's rumors that some of them are already in quarantine, or is the city doing, what is the city doing to help out some of these Afghan refugees?
So look, we've been asked by the federal government to be very sparing in our comments. We've been working with HHS all along. So the federal HHS, they are taking responsibility for these children. I don't want to get into the specific circumstances, but they did arrive this morning. It was a small group of them. They went through the regular protocols. They got the testing. They had assessments, and then HHS is going to be responsible for them thereafter. We are kind of a conduit and a point because they arrived here at O'Hare, but this is something that we've been anticipating and planning for several weeks once we knew that there was going to be these massive airlifts of individuals out of Afghanistan. We anticipated that we were going to get plane loads of folks before now, but we were notified and then have been working hand in glove with our federal partners to make sure that whatever small role we had, that we executed at the highest level, and I believe that we've done that. Now the responsibility shifts to HHS for these children.
Thank you very much, everyone. That's a wrap.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.